Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Gaming Quitte, the most delicious Quitte of them all, and today we're taking a look at a character who has been in Dragalia since it's launched, but is only now finally playable. Nina, the Shopkeeper. She's not a limited unit which debuts on a Gala Dragalia remix that also features Gala Reborn Zephyr. Nina is a wind healer with a very interesting kit. Before we talk about her skills, let's take a look at her abilities, because we're going to need these infos going forward. Her first ability, Sharp Shopkeeping, grants her a unique Shopkeeper gauge which is filled right at the start of a quest. If it's empty, you can fill the gauge by using her first skill. Nina has a unique Force Strike that deals damage, but also dispels if she has one or more charges of her gauge. Now that we know about the Shopkeeper gauge, let's take a look at her skills. Pop-Up Shop is her first skill, which uses the Shopkeeper gauge for different effects. When Nina has no charge of the gauge, it heals the team with a potency of 10%. But if a teammate has less than 30% of their max HP, this skill actually heals with an increased potency of 10 times more than normally. Pop-Up Shop also grants HP regen for the entire team. With one charge of the gauge, the recovery potency of the skill increases to 21%. With a second charge, the skill removes all afflictions from the entire team. With 3 charges, the skill grants a team strength amp with a max team amp level of only 1, sadly. One thing to note here, normally using the skill will not consume the gauges, but we will come back to this soon. Pop-Up Shop is Nina's shared skill, but I'm going to assume at this point that as a shared skill, it will use the weakest version of it. That wouldn't really make sense with the skill cost of 6 when shared though. If we actually get the highest version of the skill, that would be really cool, but I kinda doubt they would now give us a shareable amp after they didn't want to do it with Dragalia Nevin. Or maybe it uses the version with the affliction removal, which also sounds a bit too good to be true. We'll see, but I will assume it will use the weaker version of the skill. Speaking of sounding too good to be true, let's talk about Everything Must Go, her second skill. You can only use the skill when the Shopkeeper gauge is completely filled and it will be consumed upon use. It can revive units and completely heals their HP. It also heals the rest of the team with a potency of 300%, removes all afflictions, and gives skill prep of 100% to the entire team, excluding Nina herself and dragons. Nina will have knockback immunity while using the skill. This sounds like an insane skill that will help with endgame content, right? Well, that's probably only partially true. The news page specifically mentions the help section of the game, and there is a part in the help section that talks about revival abilities. This explains that those abilities cannot be used in content that doesn't allow revival. So at this point, I'm going to assume this will also apply to Nina's Everything Must Go, but we can't know for sure since it does talk about abilities and not skills, which obviously is because this is the first time we're getting something like this. If Nina actually could revive in content where it's usually not allowed, she would be an insane asset to a team. It's probably not gonna happen though, but the healing potential on the second skill is still really good, and she also fills up skill gauges. Nina brings the standard staff co-ability which increases recovery potency. Her chain co-ability gives an HP regen effect when a team member has a team strength amp. With how easily Nina can provide these, in theory, this should be an easy effect to make use of. Nina is a freeze-resistant unit. Her third ability, Ceaseless Sales, enables it to use her Pop-Up Shop even when the skill gauge isn't filled. This will use a charge of the Shopkeeper gauge instead of filling it. It isn't all bad though if you do this, because consuming one or more charges of the Shopkeeper gauge will grant a team strength amp with a maximum amp level of 1. This part of the ability has a cooldown of 45 seconds. So let's see, is Nina good? Well, I would say she has a very interesting kit for sure. She doesn't have over damage, but that's something that can very easily be negated. Just slap, for example, some of Erika's skill on her and you're good to go. In single player content where you can revive, I think she could be an helpful addition if you're still new to a fight, because this allows fixing mistakes. Aside from the revival part of her kit though, the full heal on her second skill is nice, but the skill prep is pretty much the most interesting part. We know how busted Marth's skill filling is, but that's something you need to get hit for. this skill prep is available with the press of a button right at the start of a quest, because her Shopkeeper gauge does get filled instantly. I wonder if people will find ways to use this for fast clears in co-op. But it's not just her second skill that is interesting, because she does have a Dispel on her 4th strike with at least one charge of the gauge. Having Dispel on command is always helpful, though we don't know how long it needs to charge for. But even with Crazy's long 4th strike charge, it is still super useful, so I don't think this will change on Nina. Another thing that Nina brings is the team Strength Amps, which is only level 1, but it's still pretty much always there if played correctly. So overall, I would say Nina is good, yes. She does different things than other healers, and if you just get good, you won't need the revival part of her kit. That still makes her skill gauge refill extremely useful, so don't underestimate skill spam on break. I just wonder how she'll be used by the AI, so I think it might be best to manual control her. Oh, and before I forget it, she can easily remove afflictions, so this might help people that are using Gala Beast Volk. I won't go into detail on Gala Reborn Zephyr, because I did talk about him on his initial banner. He is a very good dragon to pick up though, but if you have Mid-Zero or Gala Volk, you don't really need to go for him in my personal opinion. Having a copy of him is never bad though. If you want to learn more about him, the link to the video is in top right corner, or it's on my channel if you just look for it. Anyway, that's it for this video. Tell me in the comments below what you think about Nina and if you will summon for her. If you're new to the channel or have been watching my stuff for a while but you're not subscribed, hit that red button to support the channel with just one easy click. And if you want to know what I'm up to when I'm not making videos, follow me on Twitter or join our Discord, the links are down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!